You're watching It's Life with your host, Juan Lee and Oliver Marcelle. Come join us for enriching, enlightening, encouraging, and thought-provoking conversation. Let's go. Hey. What's happening?
Welcome. I tell you, how you doing, Oliver?
I'm well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a thawing out kind of day, you know. It's kind of literal. It's kind of like a throwing out type of day.
So here's what's funny, man. I and I know this will kind of probably date our recording, but the other day I want to say maybe yesterday before we're recording this, it's I want to say it was like 35 or 36 degrees, something like that. Man, it felt so good outside. It was like, it's so beautiful today.
Look, hey, I'm gonna make a little adjustment here because I'm looking glary.
All right, no worries. While Juan's making that adjustment, welcome to another week of It's Life. It's life.
Did that do a little bit better?
What you did, that's perfect. That's perfect example of It's Life, right? Sometimes you gotta make adjustments on the fly.
Hey,
in life, sometimes you gotta make adjustments on the fly. Sometimes you gotta adjust your lighting and your positioning.
Did it work?
I mean, it's good to me.
It's my glasses. It's like glaring. You know what? I'm gonna do something, and I thought I had fixed it, but I don't know.
You take some of the light out.
Yeah, I took a lot of it out, but can you see that? My glasses.
Oh, it's on your glasses.
Yeah. Man, and to think we were talking before we started, and yet, you know what, Oliver, we are recording, there's a pause button on the recording, but
yeah, there is a pause button. Hey,
but
listen,
you know what? But you know what?
Real life.
Hey, with that, we gonna look. You're gonna enjoy this like it is. It's called life. It's real.
Hey, this is a perfect example of just looking at things through the lens of life, man. Sometimes things are not always polished, and sometimes things are not always perfect. Oftentimes things are not always perfect, and so listen, that's a good example. Sometimes you got to make some adjustments, and you got to do them in real time. That's life.
Hey, look, like I'm gonna push that thing a little bit further. Things ain't never perfect.
Hey, listen.
I mean, I don't think perfect exists. Let's be honest with you. And I'll be honest with you because today is a good example of that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've been aware, but I've been on a health and wellness journey. Mm-hmm. And I've been recording it and keeping it up, every day, putting my health and wellness, what I'm doing. I'm doing 10,000 steps a day. Okay. And I'm doing it every day, making sure that I get some activity every day and putting it online. Mm-hmm. And every day the challenge is different. The challenge to my commitment is different. And today it's really, really different because normally when I start my walk, I do it all the way through at one time. Tonight, I'm going to have to do it twice. I've already done a little bit of it, but when after this, I'm going to have to go out and finish the rest of it.
Got you.
And yet, so it's going to require some adjustments all the time. Mm-hmm. Challenges, life wouldn't be life, and if it wasn't having to address to challenges.
Yeah.
So that's what this thing is about. It's called It's Life. And again, we've spent a little time here, but just being clear, this is what life is all about.
It is. And I think it's a perfect segue into the introduction because, in order to, just like how you had to make some adjustments here, there's certain ways you could handle that, right? And having the right mindset around, this is what we got to do, and we're going to get it done, and we're going to keep it moving. That requires a certain level, certain kind of mindset, which is exactly what Clear Journey is about.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that, hey, when we do stuff like this, it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's all right. Hey, let's by the way, Clear Journey is the sponsor of It's Life. It's Life. Clear Journey is a nonprofit that supports individuals that are looking for answers to life challenges, as we've been talking about answers to life challenges. And where we get that from is the love mindset. And that's from a book that I wrote 5 years ago. It's called Love Made Simple, The Guide to Inner Peace, Contentment, and Success. And I tell you, that's where the core of this is at. We're talking about what are the attitudes that we need to possess to be able to navigate life more successfully. And therein lies some of the key to it right there is that love mindset with the right attitudes. And so that's what we do is we provide education and resources so that you can navigate life more successful and reach your full potential. One thing that we would like for you to do, though, is that if you like something that you hear today, if you're want to be a part of our community, to subscribe to our YouTube channel or also go over to our website and join our newsletter. And if all you can do, hey, we are a nonprofit. We are welcoming any donations. We are a 501c3 that will receive it, and it is tax deductible. So please, by all means. And while you're over there, we have something free for you. And it is a book that we think that everybody needs to have and know about. It's called Budgeting Made Easy, the guide to taking charge of your money. We think that if you want to reach your goals, you've got to be able to start with managing your money. It's your money. You've got to be able to manage it to reach your goals. And it's a free ebook over there for you to just ask for it, and it's yours. Now, here's something that we have that's new, that's at our website. It's under resources, and it's basically connected to my book, Love Made Simple. It's the mini experience where we go through and really help you experience what it means to have a love mindset. Doesn't that guy right there look great? That's a great guy right there. I tell you, that guy right there looks like he's excited to be a part of this thing. But yeah, this is our new course there. Go over there, take a look at it. It's there for you to help support us in what we're doing. You can also like pick it up there and along with the books, all of those things over there. But by all means, go over there and take a look at that. All righty. Anything else, Oliver, before we get started?
No, I think that's it, man. Excited to get our guest in and hear how he serves the world.
Our guest is somebody that I met a few months back, and we had something in common right off the bat. And it's so interesting because tonight's episode is whatever you do with love hits differently. And that's really, really what we're going to be talking about. Our guest tonight is a Marine veteran, an entrepreneur, a leadership speaker, an author of The Gifted Leader, From the Battlefield to the Boardroom. He shares why whatever you do with love hits different. Our guest tonight is Louie Sharp. Come on out, Louie.
Thanks, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to be on your show.
Hey, it is a pleasure to have you. We're going to give you a little applause.
Thank you. Sounds like a standing ovation to me.
Look, when you say he was a Marine, he was a veteran we have some common, we were in the same experience, so to speak. We were in the Gulf War back many, many years ago. He was in the Marines. I was in the Air Force. We were both in Desert Storm, the first Gulf War. Since then, we've had many, but we have this brother in spirit that it's how it fits. And it's amazing how he's come to a similar conclusion about love as I did. And it's amazing. So, Louie, the floor is yours. Tell the people about yourself and more about yourself and how you got to be where you are today.
Well, I think that the thing that's most important, Juan, that I want to start with is that wherever you're at now, bitterness, anger, wherever you might be living in the world, about things in the world, there's a path to find your way back to love. And I want to start with a story. I'm a guitar player, and I was in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was getting ready to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the next day. And in the hotel bar, there was this 80-some-year-old guy. He's playing a piano, and this dude is playing everything: blues, jazz, show tunes, country and western, pop, rock. He was playing it and he was singing it. And so I asked the waitress, when he takes a break, can I buy him a drink? And she says, he doesn't drink anymore, but he'll let you buy him a cup of coffee. So he comes over, I buy him a cup of coffee, and we start talking music, and I tell him I play and blah, blah, blah. And then in that conversation, he said this. He said, music that comes from the heart will touch a heart. Mm. And at the time, it hit me like a freight train. And I've since morphed it that anything that comes from your heart will touch another heart. And so when we come into the world, we don't know anything about prejudice, racism, bigotry, hatred, greed, lust. I believe we come in as this blank sheet, and we believe everything's possible. And then everything is piled on us. And so part of what I think we need to do is get the stuff that's been piled on us off of us to get back to this thing called love. You know, one of the things that was very powerful in the Marines, back when I joined the Marines in 1975, and back in those days, there was either two kinds of guys joined, either the guys like me that volunteered, or the guys where the judge said, you either join the Marines or you're going to prison, right? But one of the things that the drill instructor said right off the bat, and because there were American Indians, there were East Indians, there was blacks, whites, Orientals, everybody. He said, the drill instructor said all the time, nobody's here is black, white, yellow, red. Everybody here is green. And when they shoot you, you're going to bleed red. And it really leveled the playing field, right? Because you really had to understand that there was no room in that. And I think one of the things that I learned in the military was the brotherhood, right? When you're in the proverbial foxhole, and one of the things we used to say all the time is there's no atheists in a foxhole, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody knows the word God in a foxhole. And so, but my point to that is when you have to put your life in other people's hands, you just want them to be skilled and qualified at what they're doing. You don't care what color their skin is. You don't care how old they are. You don't care how big they are or how skinny or how fat. You just want them to be able to cover your back. And so that's when it started to go off to me that we can see past the physical. We can see into the heart of each other. And at the end of the day, there's really more similarities in us than there is differences. But we really have been taught to focus on the differences, and it's creating all this hate and discontent in the world. Mm-hmm. And I've come to understand that we can lead with love, and it's not a sissy kind of love. It's not a weak kind of love, right? We lead from a love that's got strength, that's got hope, that's got endurance. We lead with the kind of love that truly changes the game. Like you said, I believe love's a special sauce, right? When you put it in any recipe, the recipe is going to get better. It's never going to spoil a recipe. It's never going to spoil a relationship. And one of the things that I've come to understand in my years of speaking and business consulting and owning companies and leading teams, most of us don't love ourselves enough. Most of us don't love ourselves enough. And so I've learned some processes, some skills, some things like that. And so once you learn to love yourself, it truly changes the game. And I've come to understand two things about life. One of them is you can't give away what you don't have. Right? Yeah. If you don't have it, you can't give it away. And that's with the physical as well as the emotional. And if you're not loving on yourself, you don't have enough love to give away. The other thing is that when you learn to love yourself, life's really simple. It really is. If you're happy, then you're on track. If you're unhappy, you're off track. And life's like a boomerang. Whatever you put out is coming back at you. if you're being a chucklehead and you're mean to people or short, rude, arrogant, condescending, that list of stuff goes on, then don't be surprised when people are the same way back at you. And one of the things that I've seen, so people, this is one of my favorite things. Somebody will ask me how I'm doing. I never say fine anymore. I say I'm blessed to be alive. And I've never, ever had anybody say anything negative to that. Because how can you? We all are blessed to be alive. And both of you, we've got some miles on us, right, guys? And Oliver, Juan, myself, we've all buried people. Getting old is a privilege. If you're still walking the earth, it's a precious gift, and you've been blessed. And loving that and being able to maximize it. One of the things, I wear a bunch of Marine Corps stuff. I have a hat and some T-shirts, and people. Somebody asked me once, "Why do you wear it?" And I said, I don't wear it for recognition that I served. I wear it to remind myself that I need to live my best day every day, because some of the best men I ever knew didn't get to go old. They don't get to live their days anymore at all. And I think that's true of all of us. We've all have been blessed with an extra day, an extra day, an extra day. And what do you do with that? And I think that one of the things I share with people, changing the world isn't hard. You don't need to be Mother Teresa or Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr. You don't have to be one of those people and those people had a huge, powerful impact, right? They changed the game. But I really believe the way you change the game is every day. You smile at people. I love the camaraderie you guys have. I love how you guys were just in the moment and realizing, hey, some stuff's happened and it's okay. It's just, we're going to roll with it and let it be that way. You don't get all twisted up. But I think every day you have the opportunity to smile at somebody, pat somebody on the back, appreciate somebody, tell somebody you love them. It's not hard. And that's how you change the world. That's how you have an impact. For me, in my mind, I picture a calm pond or a lake, not a ripple on it. When you throw a pebble in it, that pebble ripples across the entire lake. I can tell you, there's no doubt in my mind, when I love on you guys, when I love on people, it ripples across the universe. There's no doubt about it. And so love's become very, very powerful and very important in my life, because when we take that mindset and live from our heart, not our head, there's a good friend of mine shares that the hardest journey we make is the 14 inches from our head to our heart, right? When we overthink stuff, we stress out, we're overwhelmed. But when we drop into our heart, like I said, if you're not happy, then go do something different. And it is not hard.
Hey, let me ask you a question, because you've been out of the military. Probably you've been out of the military just as long as I've been out of the military. What was the difference between you pre-military and post-military? Do you think it was in that 20 years that really dictated and determined this understanding about love? Or was there something else that made this concept, made this thing become real to you?
That's a great question, Juan. And I can tell you that it was a couple of things. The military, being in the Marines, I learned how not to lead. In the military, from the Marines, it was, in the Marines, again, like I said, in the Marines, it was life or death stuff. And so when you told somebody to do something, they didn't get to ask why. They didn't get to ask, are there any other options? You told them to do something, it was that leadership of my way or the highway. But the camaraderie, like I spoke about, I served all over the world in some great places and in some horrible places. But when you do those things with men, like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how rich or poor they were, or where they came from, or what color their skin was, or how much money they were making, or any of that. It was the fact that we were in this, I was in places in the world where just because we were Americans, we were hated. And so you couldn't go out in public. You couldn't do those things. And so, and then you worked together and you played together. So I realized that there was this ability to love without romance, without sex, without any of that stuff. And I've grown to the point where I love on women all the time. and it's not the kind of love where it's about sex or dating them or sleeping with them. It's about loving them as individuals. And I can love men the same way. I hug everybody. I want to share a really intimate story with you guys that I don't tell many people. But when I was a little baby, before I could walk and talk, I knew I was somewhere before I got here. I can't remember where I was, but I knew I was somewhere before I got here. And so I've always had a sense of a higher power. For me, it's God. And I don't care what you call it, Allah, Buddha, Yahweh, Jesus, infinite source, universe. It doesn't matter. You know, a great mentor of mine, Jack Canfield, used to say, and he probably still does, if we're all pointing to the moon, what does it matter what we call it? And what we're all pointing to is a thing called love. You go to any religion, you drill down to the root of it, it's love. Love yourself, love your neighbor like yourself. Love your neighbor like you want to be loved. It's all about love. And when I'll share a story with you, one of my businesses, I own a body shop. And often, like when there's hailstorms or storm damage, they'll send in adjusters from other states because the claims are just overwhelming. So I had this guy at the shop, and we've got to get to an agreed price. I want more money. His job's to not pay me any money. And so we're kind of going at it. And then what happens is now let me back up a second and say, so he's living on the road. He's away from his wife and kids, living out of a hotel, eating crappy food, and he's been doing this for months. So he's just ornery to begin with. And so at some point he stops talking, and makes some notes. He's writing some things. And I just focused and thought, I'm going to love him. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. I just felt I'm going to send him love. I'm going to be love. And it's really that simple. Just think it and feel it. And it's that ripple that goes across the universe. I can tell you that when he opened his mouth, it was like he was a completely different guy. And I didn't try and change him. I changed me. I changed me from wanting to be a right fighter, right? Everybody wants the right fight. Everybody wants to say, again, my way or the highway. The only way to see this is my way. I left that point. I changed me. I was compassionate and just sent him love. And because I changed me, it changed him. And I've really come to understand that you don't change the world, you change you. And when you change you, you change the world. That's how it works, not the other way around. You can't go out here and try and change the world until you change you. You know, one of the things in the political environment that we're in right now, whether it's about Democrat, Republican, transvestite, gays, lesbians, the whole plethora of stuff. And this is one of my favorite things I love to share with people. I don't care if you're busy hating Trump, Biden, or Harris, or if you're hating Brussels or broccoli. You're peeing in our collective pool. We're all in the same pool. It's the truth, right? We're all living in the same pool. If I'm hating on anything or anybody, that my ripple is negative crap going out into the world. And I'll just say this real quick, Juan, and because we collectively, we will never have peace in the world until there's peace in your heart. If you're hating anything or anybody, we're never going to have peace in the world. So get off your flipping soapbox, go home and work on you. Because when you change you, the world changes.
I love it.
Why do you think people aren't willing to see things and hear? Because again, nobody taught you what you're doing. Nobody taught this to you.
So I want to share a story with you. I was blessed with some amazing stories. So my dad was in World War II and spent time in a German prison camp, but he was from Kentucky. My dad, and this is a perfect time, and tell me this isn't a God thing. The hair on the back of my neck standing up, because I'm here with two black men, two handsome, bald black men. By the way, bald's beautiful.
Indeed, 100%.
But my dad taught me to hate black people. He taught me to hate black people. He was from the South, had bad experiences, blah, 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 blah. I never saw a black person until I was 17 years old and I hit boot camp. And then I was stationed in Memphis, Tennessee. And I wish if by any chance there's a guy Stan from St. Louis, Missouri, listening to this, if it falls on his ears, I can't remember his last name, but I would love to look him up because he changed my life. He changed my life by doing two things. We were on mess duty, and at the time, we were living in a squad bay. It's a big open room. Everything I owned was in an 18-inch wall locker. Everything in my life that I owned was in an 18-inch wall locker. We slept on bunk beds. It was a big open squad bay. Stan and I met on mess duty, and we were working long days, but we ended up being on different shifts for a week or two. I come back after being in the mess hall all day, and Stan is sitting on my bunk. And I said, Stan, what are you doing? And he said, I'm keeping an eye on your stuff. He said, I was coming through the squad bay. He said, I heard a ruckus over here. He said, and when I came around the corner, there was two guys. They had busted the lock off your wall locker, and they're about to get into it. And he said, I had a choice. He said, they ran off. He said, I could have chased them, or I could stay here and watch your stuff. Mm. And I said, and this brings tears to my eyes to this day, guys. And this is almost 50 years ago. Stan sat on my bunk. Stan sat on my bunk for 6 hours. Wow. 6 hours waiting for me to come. And then when I get there, he said, Louie, he said, go to the PX and get yourself another lock. The PX was a 20-minute walk one way. Stan sat there for another 40 minutes while I went to the PX, bought myself a lock, and came back. My attitude, my awareness, my realization that what my dad taught me was not the truth went off like a flipping bomb. And I realized black people are just as good as white people or yellow people or red people or brown people. They're just people. And so we've all been taught about something about somebody. Mm-hmm. Race, color, creed, sex, weight, you name it. And the next thing that Stan did was he taught a poor white boy how to dance. This is back in the days of disco. And I'm not kidding you. That dude taught me how to dance. And so, Stan, if you're out there, brother, I'd love to hear from you, because I tell this story whenever I get the chance. And that's one of those stories that led me to love, to understand that it has nothing to do with the color of our skin or our sexual preference or any of those kinds of things. And the things that people taught us. Here's something I want to share with you guys in the audience. What's a belief? A belief is something that we simply think over and over and over and over again until we're going to bet our lives, until we're going to fight to the death. It's the truth. At one point, we believed Santa Claus was real. Santa Claus isn't real. Yeah. The fact that black people are this or white people are that or Democrats are this or Democrats are that, those aren't truths. The truth is, if we all climb to the top of the building we're in and jump off the roof, we're all hitting the ground. Mm. That's a truth. Why is it that some people love Republicans and some people hate Republicans? That tells you that it's not a truth. Right. It's your truth. Mm. And so when we want to buy into our truth to fight to the death, to right fight, we're never going to have peace. We're never going to have peace in our heart, and we're never going to have peace. We're never going to see each other as brothers and sisters. The reality is we're all on a spaceship called Earth. We're all in this thing together. And the people that are so arrogant and say, we're going to kill the planet, wake up, get over yourself. The planet will kill us first. The planet's going to be here 1 million years from now. We're not going to kill the planet. The planet, no. We'll do whatever we're going to do to the planet, and then the planet will make the planet uninhabitable, and we'll be gone, and the planet will still be circling the sun.
Well, we have an influence. We have an influence on how it ends up.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
You know, it's very interesting how you've come by this big thing called love, because this is the journey that I've been on. It's probably been about 30 years, a little bit more than 30 years. But it's amazing that it happens in a way that you wouldn't necessarily expect it to. But it's some very common things that if you think about it and you look at our situation, you go like, the common denominators, the things that every one of us have in common versus the things that makes us different. And the differences are meant to add value to each other.
I agree with you, Juan. The differences are the spice, right? Yeah. How boring would life be without herbs, spices, different tastes, different flavors? One of the things that came to me in a meditation, two things actually came to me in meditation. One of them was give it away. And I asked, give what away? And the answer was, and for me, again, it's God. I don't care what you call it. God said, love. As fast as you give it away, you're filled back up. You'll never run out of love.
Mm-hmm.
As fast as you give it away, it's still here. And the other thing that came to me in a meditation was when we judge, we limit the ability to love unconditionally. And I want to repeat that. When we judge, we eliminate the ability to love unconditionally. And I believe that we've all come here for two reasons. One is, to your point, to be our own spice in the soup of life. Imagine it as a big jigsaw puzzle, right? Without each one of us doing what we do and fitting into the jigsaw puzzle, it's never going to be complete in this beautiful picture. The other piece of it is that when I think we've come here to learn to love unconditionally. So, if you see somebody that's all tattooed or pierced or with funky color hair or dressed in ragged clothes or fancy clothes, we judge people all the time. Mm-hmm. And we're either making them better than us or less than us. And in that situation, it's impossible to love unconditionally. And again, all of us have been taught all these different things about about money, about statue, about jobs, about the house you live in, the car you drive, the clothes, the list goes on and on and on. Mm-hmm. But if you can see past that, I look in people's eyes. I'm looking for the light, right? I'm looking for the light in their eyes. I don't care about anything else. If I can see the light in their eyes, I know we've got a spark. We've got a connection. They're playing from a place called love.
So you have a question, Oliver, before I go back?
No, you can keep digging. I want to say this though, man, that you've said so many critical things in the time we've been together so far. And one of them is that we got to look at ourselves. And I love that. Right. And if the things that are happening around you aren't, conducive to love and peace and connection, like that's not an outside thing. That's, hey, let me look in the mirror. And is that what I'm giving? If that's not what I'm getting, that means that's not what I'm giving. And I think that's gold, man, because so often we find ourselves in spaces, and you talked about this, of such incredible division. And the propensity is to now pinpoint all of the other external things that contribute to this, as opposed to saying, hey, am I giving joy? Am I giving peace? Am I giving self-control? Am I doing these things so that, like you said, when you change yourself, you change the world? I love it.
Thanks, Oliver. That really means a lot. I mean that, especially coming from you guys who talk to a lot of people. Thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that again resonates, because when it comes to the practical application, it's how we apply it, mm-hmm. is how people begin to receive it. How people receive it, how we demonstrate it. Yeah. And I think that's Clear Journey's, its mission is to make it practical so that you can navigate life successfully with the right attitudes, because again, those attitudes present the perspectives that we look through, that we begin to see things through. I mean, you basically, everything you've said tonight just dittos what Clear Journey's all about, because it's about changing your perspective and in being inclusive versus versus being inclusive, or being exclusive, being inclusive versus exclusive.
Right.
And the ability to be able to do that is on you. It's on me. It's on each and every one of us to be able to open ourselves up to the point of acceptance and being able to be adaptable to those that are around us so that we can see each other for their value that we all hold to each other. We can't do this thing by ourselves. And the very interesting thing when you said we're in this thing together, that's a motto that I talk about all the time, in the sense that many of us can't see togetherness because of selfishness, because of division. We can't see the similarities because of the old adage goes, you can't see somebody a speck in somebody else's eye because you got a plank in your own.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And it's that kind of thing that we want to see somebody a speck in somebody else's eye, and yet you got this big plank in yours, mine, and ours, and that prevents us. So I say all of that.
Let me say one thing before you keep going, Juan. Something else that stood out to me. I just feel like we have to illuminate this a little bit. So Luis, you're in the leadership space, and you said something earlier that I think is really, really important. And it's important for leaders, but it's important for just people in general. And you talked about leading with love, right? And then you went on to say that, no, this is not a soft thing we're talking about. And that's often the misconception, right? That, that means I got to cower and now I can't be confident and I can't, and that I'm going to be, somehow less of a person and less of a force in whatever situation that I'm in because I'm leading with love. No, that's a very powerful thing. And I love that you brought that out, because I know that there's somebody who's listening who needs to hear that. Listen, when you decide to lead with love, no, you're not, you're not going down this soft road that leads to just cowering in a corner somewhere and being taken advantage of and run over. No, this is a very powerful statement that you're making, that a statement of strength. And so thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to
you're welcome, Oliver. And I appreciate you highlighting that, because you're absolutely right. To choose the path of love is not going to be easy, right? It's not. There are people, I hug everybody. There's some people that don't like it. Some people do. Some people judge me because it's not. I want to be clear that leading with love isn't necessarily an easy path, but you're absolutely right. It's something that it doesn't take your strength. It gives you strength, right? And it gives you the ability to hope and be compassionate and understanding and caring and listening and kind and all the things that we're supposed to be for each other. And it also, I want to be clear, because you brought up a very valid point, that I want to be clear that you can lead with love and be strong, and also understand that there's people that you don't want to have in your game called life, right? Somebody that's destructive, angry, on a path. And you touched on something else, Oliver, that I want to, again, kind of highlight for the listeners. And that is that when we're living outside ourselves, we live in a place called blame, shame, excuses, complaining, right? Everything that's wrong with the world is out there. There's nothing. I'm innocent. There's nothing wrong with me, right? I'm the victim in this. It's just the opposite. You are the only one that's responsible for taking responsibility for your choices. And if you choose love, then it's going to change the game. It's just that simple. It's not a question of if, it's just when. And it's tough, because you got to be strong, because you got when you get slapped and when things go wrong. And again, I don't think it's any coincidence that, Juan, you were having glare on your glasses and it kind of went the way it did. But did either one of you lose your cool? No. Were you composed? Yes. And I believe there's only really two choices. It's either love or fear. You can take greed, jealousy, lust, anger, anything, and drive it down, and somebody's afraid of something. And you take all the positive stuff and drive it down, and somebody's loving something or somebody. And so the choice is really simple. Are you coming from a place of love or fear?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I tell you guys, I like not having to say anything that all I say is ditto. I everything that you said tonight is so on point, and understanding that, love is power under control.
That's a great way to put it too.
Is power under control. It's not weak. Because again, I go back to my book, Love Made Simple. I didn't say easy.
So I want to share something with you, because that's a very powerful statement. I would also add to that, love is power without ego. I want to share a story with you guys. I spoke to a little over 1,000 high school kids one time. This is a while back. And I was talking to them about affirmations. And one of the affirmations I taught them was, I like myself. I like myself. At the end of the presentation, this skinny little boy comes up to me, freshman in high school. He reminded me of myself, skinny, shy, withdrawn, scared of his own shadow. He's got tears in his eyes. Comes up to me and he says, and he waited, right? He was timid. It took him a little bit to get up the courage to come up to me. He comes up to me and he says, today is the first day anybody ever told me they liked me. And it was him saying it to himself from the affirmation I taught him. I walked over to him. I hugged him, wrapped my arms around him, and I whispered in his ear, don't let today be the last day. Mm-hmm. Now, on the way home, I'm having this mental gymnastics with the crazy stuff in my head. And I'm wondering, did I have a big enough impact? There was over 1,000 kids. There's no doubt I touched this young boy's life. I was asking, my ego was asking, was I good enough? Did I have a big enough impact? And then God gave me this. God said, if that boy is the only boy you ever have an impact on, isn't everything that you've done to be a better you, to let go of your past, your pain, your sorrow, isn't all of it worth it? Yep. And my humble answer was, yes, God, it was all worth it. Mm-hmm. And I want to add to that story, again, it makes the hair in the back of my neck stand up. It's a spirit moving through me. I want to share with that story that as a child, I was sexually abused, physically abused to the point of being beaten bloody. I was emotionally abused. My mother walked out in the 4th grade and never came back. And so for those listening, I don't care what your story is. It's just that it's a story of some shit that's happened in your past. You can let it go and you can choose love. In this moment, you can choose to love yourself. You can choose to be kind to yourself. You can choose to treat yourself with the love and respect that you want, because you have the power to do that. And whatever's behind you, and I've got lots of tools that I've learned and lots of things that are powerful, but it's a choice. It's a choice to either drag your story around for the rest of your life and live in that fear and the anger and all the other crazy shit that I went through it. The drugs, the alcohol, the sex, the work, the food, everything I could find to kill the pain. And at the end of the day, like we were talking about, Oliver, I had to fix me, had to work on me. It's not always easy work, but it's the best work we can do to have the biggest impact.
Yeah, that's powerful. That is powerful. And for those who are listening or watching, like, this is, you got to go back from the beginning and take notes, because this is such a great masterclass on what's necessary. This is so pertinent for today. It's so apropos for today and the space we find ourselves in, the socially and politically and otherwise. You're giving some answers that can be transformational in the lives of people. So I hope and pray that those that are listening are really soaking this in and really taking this to heart and really using this as a mirror, if you will, into your own lives. And because we all have a part to play and we all have a responsibility, and we can all play our part by ensuring that we're doing the things that Louise is talking about.
Yeah. And I'd like to add this too, Oliver. I love you guys. I love your hearts. I love what you're doing. And I want to add this, because one of the other things that came to me was to let go of my ego. Who's to say that somebody that was raised in a completely different environment. They had loving parents. They were raised with all the luxury, all that stuff. And at, let's say, the age of 12 or 13, their pet cat Fluffy, who they've had their whole life, dies. Mm-hmm. Who am I to say that that's more traumatic or less traumatic than my story? I'm not. It's just their story too. Yeah. But when we judge this place, again, that ego wants us to judge better or worse, better than, or my story's harder, or no, it's just my story. And there isn't one of us. And you guys, I love what you guys are bringing here, because you guys know the same thing I know. There isn't one of us that gets out of this thing called life unscathed. We've all buried people. We've all had hardship. We've all known people that have created chaos in our lives. We all have it. Mm-hmm. But again, we get to choose every day. We get to choose whether we're going to be love or fear.
Yeah.
Look here. My questions are moot. I really want to just ditto the need to really be authentically yourself, and realize that, if we understand, love is a tool that we get the opportunity to navigate life through. Mm-hmm. But if we don't possess it, we don't grab it and put it in our arsenal, not put it in use. And it's how do we engage, connect with one another? Louie, you have opened up so many thought processes tonight, mm-hmm. That if many could not have understood if you hadn't have said it. And your willingness to share your stories that are encompassed around understanding the value and the purpose of love, no one would have been able to know it. No one would have been able to see it. And that's what this experience is that we're trying to present to people is that the more we are willing to accept ourselves, the more we become open to share ourselves. And you and I mean, we had a good conversation before we started tonight, and it was the fact that, here you are at the young age that you are as a great grandfather, a great grandfather. And that doesn't come by chance. And that's something that you've worked at throughout your life, and now you're being rewarded with that experience that many, as you were saying, as we were talking about, it would be a picture that the child would see one day and say, that was your great granddaddy.
Right.
But yet you're of an age that you can grow up, that child can grow up with you. And that's a blessing.
Yeah,
without a doubt. And Juan, you touched on something that I'd like all the listeners to understand. And I love to use sex as an example. Tonight we've been talking about love. Until you experience the power of it, you're never going to know it. It's much like sex. We could have been talking about sex all night, but until you have sex, you're not going to know what the experience of having sex is. Love is the same way. And I would challenge the listeners, just start loving on people. And it's easy. You appreciate them. You take time to be present with them. You spend time with them with the phones and the TV and all that stuff off. But you're absolutely right, Juan. Until they experience the power of that love, they're never going to know it. It's just a concept that lives in your brain. But when you start practicing it and you realize the power of it, it changes everything.
It's amazing until you understand it. There's so many things that we just don't know. We don't know.
Right.
And until we understand it. And that's why when you said the first thing we got to do is be able to express it or experience it for ourselves. Because as you said so profoundly in the beginning, you can't give what you don't have.
Right.
You can't experience, you can't express it. You can't give something that you don't possess. And when you're able to first and foremost understand it for yourself, man, there is nothing. It's one of the things that I talk about. Love is one of the very powerful things that love is that it's a choice. And nobody can take it from me, and no one can make you do it.
Right.
You have to be willing to do it, and nobody can make you do it.
Right. Yeah, it's a verb. You got to take action.
Yeah, it's yours, and it's yours alone.
Yeah. And I like to share something that to appreciate both of you guys. I can tell you, everything's energy, and you guys have created a beautiful space. I've felt safe. I felt loved. I felt welcomed. Right. And so for me to tell the stories and share what I've shared, it's because you guys have created this space, this energy where I just felt welcome, and I could, what little hair I have left, I can let my hair down and just be me. Right. And I think that's when we really want to connect with people. If we're genuine, transparent, and authentic, we're going to hit the mark every time. I didn't show up to be somebody special or to impress anybody tonight. I just shared my heart, and you guys gave me the space and the safety to do that. And that's love. There's no better example than creating an environment where people are safe enough to be themselves. And you guys are creating that. So God bless you for the work you're doing.
Man, that's awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah. That's really good. And it's gonna piggyback onto my monthly real life talk that we have on Monday, once a month. Dog, I ain't even put that flyer, but once a month we have that place where everybody can come and be a part of that same space. It's called Real Life Talk, Unity Through Love, where we come and we share and encourage and support one another in this thing called life. And so, yeah, you're not the only one. Everybody has an opportunity to come and experience this space once a month. It's the fourth Saturday, by the way. Come over to the Clear Journey YouTube, Clear Journey website. Go to the events and register. And you too can be a part of this space called love. And it's really, I tell you, it's not a weak place. It's an encouraging place.
Oh, absolutely. It is indeed.
Hey, before we go, and then we've already going to say thank you, because it's just amazing that you were able to share the stories that you have. And hopefully, if we have anything to do with it, we're gonna hopefully give an opportunity for everybody that you want to hear this to hear it. And so, is there anything that you'd like to share of what you have going on with our audience?
Yeah, I'd like to share a couple of things, and thank you for the opportunity. But I would also like to say this, and I want to share this with you guys and the audience. I've become aware of what I call the downstream. So the work that we do, this podcast is going to land exactly where it's supposed to. That, like that young boy, I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's doing with his life, and I'm not supposed to. That's the downstream that we give to God and let God do whatever God's going to do with it. We're going to do that, and I'm going to pray for this podcast tonight to go exactly where it's supposed to go, to the hearts and minds of the people it's supposed to hit. And so I'd like to offer your listeners a free resource. If they want to email me, they can go to Louie@thegiftedleader.com, or they can also reach me at the Gifted Leader website. And I want to, real quick, I want to mention the Gifted Leader. People push back on that. And when I speak, I'll ask the audience by a show of hands, who's a leader? And one of you touched on this earlier, and I forget who it was, but I believe everybody's a leader. Even if you're pumping gas, somebody's watching you. And so, and the other thing is I'll ask people, have you done anything positive or helped anybody? And everybody says yes. That makes you a gifted leader. Everybody's a gifted leader. They might not be aware of it, but they are. So I'd like to give everybody a free resource. It's called the mirror exercise. It's one of the things I start with my clients. It's a way to start loving on yourself, to appreciate yourself. Very powerful exercise. And so I want to give that to all your listeners for free. And they can get that at Louie at thegiftedleader.com, or that's my email, and also the website, thegiftedleader.com.
Now, what do they do? Just let you know that they heard it here on It's Life?
Yep. They just mentioned It's Life and Mirror Exercise, and I'll get them that resource. And again, it changed my life, and it'll change whoever uses it.
Well, we'll appreciate you. Thank you very much.
That's awesome.
And was there anything else that you wanted to share? Was there your website address?
Yeah, that was the thegiftedleader.com.
Was that up there too? Okay. Yep. All righty.
Yeah. Oliver's all over it. He's a rock star.
Yeah, he is. There he is. Well, Louie, I want to just thank you. This conversation was probably well overdue for our platform. And it was just amazing that we came in contact with each other, but hopefully we don't lose contact with each other. We're going to hopefully do some other things together. We have such a kindred spirit as it relates to making a difference and helping people understand this magical, if it is, this thing called love. It's awesome. And I just want to thank you for sharing your stories with us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to stay in touch. Oliver?
Yeah, this was great. And I urge you as a listener and the viewer to go check out the website. Because, we got such great information and there's even more about what Louie does, how he serves, the coaching that's available, the courses that are there, resources that are there, so that you could live this out, not just as a leader. Obviously, yes, leaders go and tap into this, but you may not consider yourself a leader as in a C-suite type person, but you are a leader. Mm-hmm. You're a leader in your sphere of influence. You're a leader in your family. You're a leader amongst your peer groups. And this is good information. So make sure that you are tapping into that.
Well, all right. Louie, anything you want to close out with?
Yes. I love you guys. Keep up the great work. And whatever I can do to support you in the future, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'm here to help.
All righty. Okay, then. Well, Louie, we're going to let you go back in the green room for a minute. Let us close out the show. And don't go anywhere because we want to thank you again before we let you go. All right.
Sounds good.
Take it easy.
It's good information, man. I love it. And it's so necessary.
That's
necessary. It's the lifeblood. It's the thing that undergirds, the type of society we want to experience can only start with what the stuff he was talking about. So,
well, again, he and I are so
indeed
100% so in line. Mm-hmm. And to know that we have a connection that goes, it has military, but then it often in everything else, it has that fact that we're humans. We're connected in the fact that we have more things in common than we have not in common. Mm-hmm. If only, but it's a choice to look and see that. Yeah. We have to see. And it's amazing because I'm asking you to look and not see what you don't want to see, not see what you see, to see what you don't see. That's what love does. It allows you to see what you don't see. And he's just so well articulated that in a manner in which he just brought it clear for all of us.
Yeah.
So Oliver, let people know how they can reach you.
Indeed, if you are a social media person, that is the social media handle right there, Denali LLC everywhere, particularly YouTube. You will try to get more people over there on YouTube. But if you're not familiar with who I am, I'm an author, speaker, and coach in the relationship building space and in the men's space as well. And so work with relationships both personally and professionally, work with men based off of a book that I wrote entitled Overcoming the Man Laws for the man who wants to be his best despite what he was taught. And so just passionate about relationships. And like Juan with the course that he's doing, we are also offering a course right now. We took all of the information, teaching videos, the worksheets, the case studies, everything from our I just lost my train of thought. Everything from our group coaching experience, and we've put it in a course that you can do on your own called the Make Love Better course. And so if you go over to denaliCommunity.com/MLB course, you can check that out and begin your transformation as it relates to making your love holistically better. So you can reach us by going to denali.org is the website. Denali LLC is the handle for social media. And if you happen to be an email person, you can email me at the email on your screen. I think you're muted, Juan.
And then forgot. Hey, well, that's me. I'm, by the way, support Oliver. He's one of our strategic partners. So by all means, support him while he can also help you on your journey. Again, we're here to help you in all areas of your life. And like I said, the 4 pillars that we have, go over to our what is it, Oliver? Go over to our website.
Yeah, we for some reason both lost train of thought. Right, I tell you,
it's been a night. But yeah, go over to the website and find out more about us. And I guess it's just been a great night. So that being said, as usual, we don't change life. We just help you navigate it a little bit better. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Later.